Welcome to the Clarity Nocturne, where we find stillness in the storm and insight in the darkness. Life, especially in the world of service and business, is filled with moments that challenge our composure, test our limits, and can sometimes feel like a personal assault on our sense of calm. But here is a fundamental truth that seasoned professionals understand deeply. It is not the customer's anger itself that throws us off balance, but our immediate, unfiltered reaction to it. Every single time we face an irate customer, whether it's a caller whose voice is trembling with frustration, a client in person whose face is a mask of fury, or an email typed in the stark, unforgiving font of all caps, we are presented with a critical choice. We can allow their emotional storm to engulf us, pulling us into a spiral of defensiveness and anxiety, or we can choose to become the anchor, the calm, unwavering center that guides the interaction toward resolution. This is the art of professional composure, a skill built not on suppressing our feelings, but on mastering our response. Today we are going to explore the powerful, practical strategies for handling angry customers, not just to survive the encounter, but to transform it. We will move beyond abstract theories and dive into actionable techniques you can use immediately to de-escalate tension, maintain your professionalism, and protect your own well-being. We're not just talking about scripts, we're talking about a mindset shift. By the end of this video, you will not only possess a toolkit for diffusing even the most volatile situations, but you will also understand how mastering these moments can make you an invaluable asset to any team and a more resilient individual in every aspect of your life. Stay with me, because the clarity you're about to gain could fundamentally change how you approach every challenging customer interaction from this moment forward. As we navigate these essential techniques together, if you appreciate our mission to bring clarity to complex situations, the one simple, free favor I will ask of you is to support our channel by hitting the subscribe button. Please ensure you watch every part of this video to absorb the full, transformative impact of the strategies we are about to uncover. Let's begin. The art of handling customer anger isn't a modern invention born from corporate training manuals. It's a timeless practice rooted in the fundamental principles of human psychology, communication, and emotional intelligence. It has been honed in bustling ancient marketplaces, refined in the high-stakes world of diplomacy, and perfected in today's global service industries. At its very heart, this art teaches us how to navigate conflict constructively in a world where expectations often clash with reality. The foundational concept was not established by a single guru, but has been shaped by pioneers in psychology and communication, from Dale Carnegie's principles of winning friends to the de-escalation techniques developed for law enforcement and crisis negotiation. These diverse fields share a common, powerful insight. The quality of a difficult interaction is determined not by the initial outburst of anger, but by the skillfulness of the response that follows. They propose that the path to resolution is found in first understanding the emotion before addressing the problem. It requires us to momentarily set aside our own desire to be right or our fear of being blamed, and instead use our faculties to understand the other person's perspective and guide the conversation toward a productive outcome. What makes this approach so vital today is its focus on practical, empathetic action. It's about more than just patiently enduring a verbal barrage. It's about actively transforming a negative experience into a positive, or at the very least, a neutral one. We learn to make a critical distinction, separating the person from the problem. The customer is not the enemy. The problem they are facing is. This simple but profound separation creates the mental space needed to remain objective and helpful, which is incredibly empowering in today's high-pressure service environments where burnout is a constant threat. By practicing these principles, we learn to channel our energy not into defending ourselves, but into solving the issue at hand, cultivating professional virtues like patience, empathy, clarity, and resourcefulness. Each of these plays an indispensable role in building a reputation for excellence and fostering customer loyalty. Therefore, this is not just about damage control, it's about relationship building. It teaches us to meet each wave of frustration not with a rigid wall that will eventually break, but with the flexible strength of knowing we have the power to choose our response. Through this practice, we discover that true professional satisfaction isn't derived from avoiding difficult customers, but from developing the inner skills to handle any situation with grace and confidence. When it comes to the immediate high-stakes moment of dealing with an angry customer, a structured approach provides us with the powerful tools needed to maintain our composure and act in line with our professional values, rather than getting swept away by the emotional current. The experts agree that while we cannot control a customer's initial emotional state, we have absolute control over the process we use to respond. This single idea, when put into practice, can completely redefine the outcome of these challenging interactions. One of the first and most critical tactics is to listen to understand, not to reply. This means when a customer begins to vent their frustration, instead of immediately formulating a defense or a solution, we commit ourselves to absorbing everything they are saying. In that active listening, we give ourselves the power to respond from a place of full information and empathy, rather than from a reactive, defensive impulse. As the renowned Stephen Covey put it, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. In the heat of the moment, it's natural to want to interrupt, to correct a fact, or to jump to a solution. But the art of de-escalation teaches us to hold back, to let the customer release that initial pressure. Let's imagine a real-world scenario. A customer calls, their voice raised, furious that a delivery is late and has ruined their plans. Your gut reaction might be to immediately explain the logistical reasons for the delay. But a skilled professional would first listen to the entire story, letting the customer feel heard. They would use verbal nods like, "I see," or "I understand." What we can control is our response. The customer's anger is their own. Our calm is ours to maintain. A legendary business leader often reminded his team that an angry customer is giving them a gift, the opportunity to fix a problem and improve the system. This perspective shifts the focus from a personal attack to a professional challenge, giving us the space to practice patience and problem solving. Another essential tactic is to deploy verbal empathy. This is more than just saying, "I'm sorry." It's about specifically acknowledging the customer's feelings and validating their experience. It doesn't mean you agree with everything they're saying or that you are admitting fault. It simply means you recognize their emotional state. For example, instead of a generic apology, you might say, "I can absolutely understand why you would be so frustrated. It sounds like this delay has caused a major inconvenience for you, and for that, I am truly sorry." This statement does two things. It names the emotion, frustration, and validates the impact, inconvenience. When people feel understood, their emotional intensity often decreases significantly, making them more receptive to a solution. You are not validating their anger as a weapon, but you are acknowledging their humanity, choosing not to let their negativity dictate the tone of the entire exchange. This approach also encourages us to reframe the situation. A technique known as cognitive reframing can be incredibly powerful. Before an interaction or even during it, you can mentally prepare yourself. You might tell yourself, "This person isn't angry at me personally. They are frustrated with the situation. My role is to be their ally in solving it." This mental script prevents you from being emotionally hijacked. When the anger comes, you're not caught off guard or personally wounded. You've already framed it as a task to be managed, and you are ready to approach it with professional poise. Equally important is the practice of detaching from the outcome of their emotion. Communication experts are firm in their belief that much of our stress comes not from the customer's anger itself, but from our desperate need for them to calm down immediately. We must accept that their emotional journey is their own. Our job is to provide a clear, calm, and helpful path forward. In the context of an angry customer, this means accepting that they might remain upset for a while. And that's okay. It's part of the process. By releasing the expectation that our first few sentences will magically erase their anger, we free ourselves from immense pressure. Instead, we focus on what we can control: our tone, our words, and our actions. And finally, we are taught to embrace the challenge as a learning opportunity. While it may seem counterintuitive, dealing with angry customers is one of an organization's most valuable sources of feedback. Each complaint, no matter how angrily delivered, is a spotlight on a weakness in a product, service, or process. Each time we successfully navigate one of these interactions, we are not only retaining a customer, but also strengthening our own skills in communication, problem solving, and emotional regulation. We are building professional resilience, not just for that moment, but for every future challenge we will face. In this way, angry customers aren't just problems. They become catalysts for our own professional growth. These tactics remind us that business will always present us with emotional challenges, but it's how we choose to manage them that defines our success. By practicing these de-escalation techniques, we not only protect our peace of mind, but also become more effective, respected professionals in the process. Now let's bring these de-escalation tactics into the real-world situations where they are most needed. It's one thing to understand the theory of emotional intelligence, but the true measure of skill comes from applying it under pressure in everyday interactions with upset, difficult customers. These moments, often stressful and unpredictable, are the ultimate proving ground for our principles of professional composure. Whether you're on the phone, face-to-face, or communicating digitally, customer anger manifests in different ways, but a structured approach helps us handle it with poise and effectiveness. Take the customer service call center, for example. We've all been on one end of that call where a customer is shouting, their voice filled with rage over a billing error or a faulty product. Our training teaches us that we can't control their volume, but we can control our own tone and pacing. Instead of matching their frantic energy, we consciously slow our speech and lower our pitch. This has a subconscious calming effect. We can apply the listen, empathize, act framework. First, we let them speak without interruption. Then, we use empathetic statements. It is completely unacceptable that you were billed incorrectly. I can see the charge right here, and I understand why you are so upset. Finally, we pivot to action. Let's get this fixed for you right now. I'm going to process the refund immediately. By refusing to let their emotional state dictate our own, we maintain control of the call and guide it toward a resolution. In a retail or face-to-face setting, the dynamics are even more intense. An angry customer in a public space can be intimidating. Here, non-verbal cues are just as important as our words. We maintain open body language, no crossed arms, and ensure a respectful physical distance. We make eye contact to show we are engaged, but we avoid staring, which can be perceived as confrontational. Instead of reacting with defensiveness, we can ask clarifying questions. Could you please walk me through exactly what happened? I want to make sure I understand the full picture. This shows a genuine desire to help and shifts the customer's brain from a purely emotional state to a more logical, narrative one. Often, the simple act of recounting the events can lower their emotional intensity. By recognizing this, we can respond with patience and a calm demeanor, not to excuse their outburst, but to rise above it and be the professional in the room. Now let's consider digital communication, the angry email or the frantic live chat. We've all seen those messages filled with exclamation points and accusations. It's easy to fire back a defensive or curt reply, but here's where our tactics can help us craft a response that de-escalates. We practice detachment from the harsh words on the screen. We remember that the person behind them is frustrated and needs help. Our reply should start with empathy. Thank you for reaching out and bringing this to our attention. I am very sorry to hear about the trouble you've experienced with your recent order. We then address their points clearly and concisely, using formatting like bullet points to make the solution easy to understand. We avoid using corporate jargon or language that sounds dismissive. In every case, we are no longer controlled by the customer's initial angry volley. We are controlling the process of resolution. Let's not forget the challenging scenario where the customer is factually incorrect. They are furious about a policy they misunderstood or a charge that is perfectly valid. This is a minefield for conflict. Our approach here is not to bluntly say, "You're wrong." Instead, we gently guide them to the correct information. I can see why you might have interpreted the policy that way. It can be a bit confusing. Let me pull up the terms and conditions we both agreed to and walk you through that specific section. This approach avoids blame and positions you as a helpful guide rather than an adversary. There's also the power of choosing what to focus on, which is deeply embedded in effective communication. When a customer is angry, ask yourself, what is the core problem they need solved? Often their anger is layered with secondary complaints. By focusing on and solving the primary issue, the other frustrations often fade away. This mindset helps us not only avoid getting bogged down in unwinnable arguments, but also keeps us focused on what truly matters, providing a solution. These practical applications of de-escalation help us to not just handle angry customers, but to transform these interactions into opportunities for building trust. By shifting our perspective, detaching from their emotion, and responding with a clear, empathetic process, we create a professional buffer between ourselves and the negativity. In doing so, we protect our own mental energy and become more effective and resilient with each encounter. This practice is not just about surviving the anger of others, but about turning these moments into powerful demonstrations of our skill, helping us to work more wisely and calmly no matter what or who comes our way. When we practice these de-escalation skills over time, the benefits begin to ripple out far beyond just handling difficult or angry customers. It starts small, perhaps with successfully calming a frustrated caller or resolving a tense situation in person. But soon, this practice begins to fundamentally reshape the way we approach our professional and even personal lives. The long-term application of these principles builds a powerful foundation of resilience, emotional intelligence, and communication mastery that enhances our day-to-day experience in truly profound ways. One of the most significant long-term benefits is the development of profound emotional resilience. Communication experts believe that while we can't control the emotional state of others, we can always control our own response. Over time, as we continue to apply tactics like pausing before replying, using empathy, and focusing only on what we can control, we become less emotionally reactive to life's inevitable conflicts and outbursts. The daily stressors, whether from an angry customer, a demanding boss, or a personal disagreement, no longer have the same power to derail our day. This doesn't mean we become robotic or unfeeling, but rather that we develop a core of emotional strength. As many seasoned professionals will attest, you gain power over your own mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This shift in perspective allows us to remain centered, even in the face of hostility, and makes us more adaptable to the inherent uncertainties of any service-oriented role. Beyond resilience, practicing these skills cultivates a deep sense of professional calm. When we let go of the need to control another person's emotions and accept that some things are simply out of our hands, we experience a profound release of stress. This is the peace that comes from truly understanding the boundaries of our responsibility. We are responsible for our actions, our words, and our effort, not for the feelings of others. Much of our workplace anxiety comes from wanting reality to be different than it is. But through this practice, we learn to accept situations as they are and to respond with calm, methodical action. This peace of mind isn't something that appears overnight, but with consistent practice, it becomes a stable part of our professional identity. Instead of being anxious about the next difficult interaction, we become more grounded in the present moment, able to face whatever comes our way with clarity and composure. Another key benefit is the dramatic improvement of all our relationships. As we apply empathy and active listening in our professional lives, these skills naturally bleed over into our personal interactions. We become better at understanding our partners, friends, and family, even when they act out of frustration or stress. We learn to see the world from other people's perspectives and recognize that everyone is dealing with their own internal battles. By practicing this kind of understanding, we reduce conflict in all areas of our lives and approach others with more patience and grace. Over time, this leads to deeper, more meaningful connections. We stop taking things so personally and instead begin to view difficult interactions as opportunities to practice our communication skills, whether that's patience, kindness, or setting clear boundaries. This practice also fosters a stronger sense of professional purpose and value. The more we master the art of turning negative situations into positive ones, the more we align our actions with what truly matters, helping people and solving problems. Instead of being swayed by the fear of confrontation or the desire for external praise, these skills help us focus on performing our role with excellence and integrity. By consistently practicing de-escalation and problem solving, we begin to feel a stronger sense of fulfillment, knowing that we are making a tangible positive impact, no matter how challenging the circumstances. One of the most profound long-term effects is the development of self-mastery. When we become skilled at managing our reactions, emotions, and impulses under pressure, we gain a level of mastery over ourselves that allows us to navigate our careers with greater confidence and wisdom. Instead of being at the mercy of external circumstances or the behavior of others, we become the steady, reliable force in our own professional lives. This self-mastery doesn't mean we won't face challenges or feel stress, but that we will be far better equipped to handle them without being overwhelmed. Finally, long-term practice brings a sense of professional contentment and pride. This approach encourages us to find satisfaction in the process, not just the outcome. We learn to be proud of how we handled the situation, regardless of whether the customer was ultimately satisfied. By practicing our craft with skill and integrity, we begin to find joy in our own competence and resilience. This shift in mindset leads to a more content, fulfilling career, where we're no longer driven by the fear of negative feedback, but by a sense of inner confidence and professional pride. In the long run, these skills aren't just about surviving customer service. They're about thriving in any human-centric role. By practicing these principles consistently, we become more resilient, more peaceful, and more effective communicators. We grow not only in how we handle angry customers, but in how we approach our careers and our lives as a whole. And that, in itself, is the greatest benefit this practice can offer. A professional life lived with purpose, calm, and unwavering strength. At the end of the day, no matter what challenges you face in your role, whether it's dealing with an angry customer, navigating a complex problem, or simply managing the daily pressures of your job, remember this: the power to remain calm, professional, and effective resides entirely within you. This art of composure isn't about being emotionless or avoiding difficult conversations. It's about facing these challenges with strength, clarity, and a commitment to a constructive process. You have the framework, you have the techniques, and you have the wisdom. Now is the time to put it all into practice. Thank you for being part of the Clarity Nocturne, where we journey together in mastering life's professional challenges through insight and skill. Don't leave just yet. Tap into even more strategies for professional excellence by watching one of the videos on the screen right now. Your path to a stronger, more composed mind continues there. See you soon, and until then, find your clarity and master the moment.